All these pieces are springing up around the city, and I'm thinking, who is Professor Pigment? He's affecting people, and he's certainly got me going as well.
My street art's predominantly stencils, and the message or the meaning behind it all is about celebrating Stoke, Staffordshire, sort of the people, the community, and highlighting all the nice things that go on in the area. It's got like a special place in my heart. I love the people, and it's a special sort of community spirit in Stoke that you don't really get anywhere else.
Since there was man or woman, we've always made marks and we've always made art. So I don't know whether or not you can talk about the kind of early cave paintings, but it's an urge in humans that we like to leave our mark and create pictures based on our lives and our experiences.
The first piece I ever did was just down the canal, sort of like first piece, don't want to jump in the deep end. So when I walked to the Britannia on match days, I walked down the canal as well. So when I was walking down, I was looking at opportunities to do a piece, but then there was a nice wall on the other side of the water. So I sort of hatched this plan to do this text, "Welcome to Fortress Britannia." I jumped over the fence and then attached myself with rope to that fence and then abseiled down to get to that wall and then did my piece there, which could have gone horribly wrong. I could have ended up in the water, but luckily my knots were strong enough. I don't really know why I picked that as the first piece. I should have kept it easy, but I like a challenge. So this was like a couple of years ago when I first started out, and the sort of reaction that came back was sort of like death threats and sort of aggressive, negative sort of posts. I was like, okay.
Obviously, graffiti art is a contentious area of the arts because I think people often have quite a negative view on graffiti art. I think some graffiti art can be really, really great and really positive, but then I think bad graffiti art, where it's kind of mindless vandalism, is like the other end of the scale. And I think because you have graffiti that isn't art, that can pop up in and be a nuisance to the city, I think that kind of gives the whole of the area a bad name.
So I was like, okay, that's not really what I was expecting, but we'll see how it goes on match day, if people notice it. And then I went on match day and I sort of hung around to see if people would take photos and stuff, and people were stopping and taking photos. So at first it didn't look like it was going to really take off, but then after match day I thought, okay, maybe I could do more of these pieces. I want to have an impact on people that I've never met, sort of that's why I would do it. And then I see all these positive things going on in Stoke that I think should be highlighted, so I decided to highlight them myself.
Jordan was a role model pupil, and we went to Turkey on the 23rd of September, and 3 days into the holiday Jordan was swimming in the pool and suddenly suffered a cardiac arrest. We were taken to the hospital and the staff over there were extremely good. 10 days later he sadly lost his life. This has always been a big place for Jordan. He always come up here, played football. The cricket club offered us, we could have the stand basically. So from that, we got the signs above it, and I wanted to do something bigger and better.
Out of the blue, I got a message saying that the stand was going to be named after him, and she was wondering if I could paint it, which was obviously very humbling for me.
It was Christmas time, to be honest with you. He said, obviously you're going to be having a tough time. I'll be in touch soon.
Didn't really tell her when or what it was going to be. I just sort of like the next week or the next 2 weeks after, just went one night, spent quite a lot of time there.
And then one day I was taking my daughter to nursery, which was just around the corner, popped round and there it was. I cried because, one, it shouldn't have had to been done in the first place, but then two, excitement and joy and happiness, and the fact that somebody that doesn't even know me had taken the time to come out and to do this, it was just amazing.
BBC Radio Stoke did a week-long show trying to figure out who ProPig was. They had the two presenters going around to all the various pieces in the local area to see if they could find any clues.
Things just started to pop up, and I was starting to hear more and more, and I'm thinking, who is Professor Pigment? We bought deerstalker hats and we went on a mission to find him, and I emailed him, and I got an email in the morning to say, go and check the car park here where we're standing in Hanley. And he did Grandad John, and seeing the video that he was out in the middle of the night with step ladders and there was an accomplice, we came down here and we were looking for footprints, and he just stirred up such passion and really got people going on social media as well.
It was cool. They had people phoning in, the public, and speaking to them, which I listened to, so it was nice that's the first time really I've heard people talking about it, so that was good to sort of eavesdrop in. It was cool. It was bizarre, obviously, listening to it on the radio, and it was about me. They were saying stuff that was weirdly accurate.
Behind every spray painting there is a positive story, so he did Nello and Lou Macari. Again, that's a real celebration of two local heroes. So the feedback really mostly has been positive, but this Grandad John picture, it's been vandalised. And how dare somebody vandalise some positive vandalism? It's just not on.
Myself and Nello at the Britannia Stadium. We were never here actually when we were working for Stoke City. We were at the Victoria ground, but he decided to put the BAFTA boys here, and I'm delighted.
Sometimes you'll see, I'll see something in the news, and then I'll go, that would be a good piece.
I never thought winning a BAFTA would happen. I never thought I'd be on, if you want to call it, an electricity box at the Britannia Stadium. And I think the only unfortunate thing is we're at the away end. That may not get a good reception. I was introduced to Professor Pig, as I call him, by a friend, and after that introduction got to know him a lot better. Obviously know who he is.
Did an interview with Lou Macari, and whilst we're in the middle of the interview, his phone rings. Now, to this day, I'm still not sure whether that was a complete setup. So he's like, oh, my phone's ringing, it might be him. He looked, it's ProPig. And I was like, oh my word, this is incredible. So I was like, pass the phone over.
When you pass some of the things he's done in particular, you think, wow, well done. And, he does it late at night sometimes, and a bit of mystery around that as well, because he took me out one night, and when he got me to put on this balaclava and glasses, and I revealed myself, but I wasn't ProPig. I've never been ProPig.
Got a message on Facebook saying that the Harry Potter was trying to get in contact with you, and then he actually contacted me on Twitter, and I think he invited me to his birthday party. Obviously, I can't attend such events, so I sent him a portrait. As I did a Stoke City piece of work for him, and I sent it in, and then we got chatting a bit, and I knew he was going away for the weekend.
I come back and there's a film crew waiting for me at the front door, and they said, can we follow you into the house? And I looked at my wife and thought, she knows something.
I hatched a plan to, while he was away, go in, paint this wall, his back garden, this wall, which he has painted on occasions.
We walked outside, and when I walked outside, I just turned around and looked at that. I was, oh my God, that somebody would go to the trouble of doing this for my 50th birthday. And I received an email from Professor Pigment saying, which touched me deeply, and it just said, for everything you've done for Stoke City. And I'm a big guy, but I do get emotional. I just thought to myself, if I have touched somebody's heartstrings to take the time to do that for me, that makes it all worthwhile being the Harry Potter.
I'm Dave McGuinness, I'm a tattoo artist. He put a piece on Facebook that he'd done, and I commented on it saying I really wanted a piece on the building. He sent me a message and asked me more, so I told him a little story about a lady that had come in who was a little bit older, who had this scar that led all the way down her arm, and it'd been there like 30, 40 years. And she'd said she'd never ever taken a jumper off, like she'd worn jumpers for the whole of her life. And I drew something up for her, and when she came in, as I was doing the tattoo, she was telling me about, the little story that she'd got. After it was done, she sent me a photo of herself at the Chelsea Flower Show with just a dress on, with her arms showing. It touched me really. So I wanted something that incorporated that into the design that ProPig was doing. I turned up for work first thing in the morning, and it was on the wall. It was pretty amazing. I couldn't believe that he'd actually chose my story to come in and do something with it. A little note stuck to the wall as well, saying that the story had inspired him. It was pretty cool.
First, after we interviewed him, we know he's got a pride in the city and the creative side of the city. I don't know what age he is, but I think he's of a certain age where I think he may have grown up around the golden years of clubbing, maybe even in Stoke-on-Trent in the late 80s and early 90s with regards to Chalets and Golden, etc. And what a social buzz Stoke-on-Trent was, with a lot of people coming from outside the area into Stoke-on-Trent, especially the city centre that way. But yeah, he's got a civic pride. I think what comes from living in Stoke-on-Trent, you have a certain insularity and parochialness about the work you do as well. While a lot of people in Stoke-on-Trent will often not put it down, but often kind of have a glass half empty demeanour at times, but they also will champion the city at all times as well. The people from Stoke are great people, and I think ProPig is kind of recognising that as well in the work he does.
The Christmas idea was because I love Christmas and I wanted to spread some of this Christmas joy, start getting people thinking about Christmas, because it was in the beginning of December. So I created these presents, which were all artwork that I'd done, and the idea was that I would go into Hanley, drop them off, upload it on social media. People would then see that this piece is a free gift and go and take it, and that's my gift to somebody. The response was incredible. Like, no piece was there for longer than a couple of minutes. People were running to get them, and in fact one day I uploaded it. It was on Trinity Street, and I was walking up Trinity Street and I could see people running down the hill, and I was thinking that they're going for ProPig work, and my girlfriend was like, don't be so big-headed, but I was like, no, they are going for ProPig work, and they were running straight past me, straight through me, as if I wasn't even there, because they wanted to get it. Because obviously I do the pieces in the night and then I'm gone, and then obviously I don't hang around like the next day or whatever, so it was weird to see people's reactions to these pieces. The idea sort of came naturally to have something that people could walk from one area to Stoke to another area in Stoke, and also learn about or view pieces that maybe they didn't know was going on in Stoke, and sort of it's like a feel-good attraction. Some of the exhibitions are about that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve, and just because you get knocked down doesn't necessarily mean that you should stay down and stuff. So this, trying to put across this idea that if you keep going, you'll be able to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve.
When I walk out here with a cup of coffee and just stand there, it just empowers me to think, God, how great this city is.
I think people from Stoke-on-Trent love their own, possibly more than any other city I've been to, in fact, and they love the fact that we've got an absolutely outstanding artist amongst our midst. Nobody knows who he is.
He's fantastic at what he does, and he's brightened up my life. I'm sure he has others as well. The fact that he's come out and done something like this, this man's pretty amazing.
Cities are boring, they're just bricks and mortar, and if they've got like something on them that's done well, I think it enhances the experience of walking around.
I think what Professor Pigment does is bring lots of people together to appreciate his work. We are a city of culture and sport, and he's celebrating people and sports.
Anything that is positive is good for any city, and what he does, in my opinion, is positive. I've never heard any complaints from anybody. Everyone's very positive about it. Everyone's desperate to know who he is.
If you ask anybody who ProPig is, every time you ask somebody you'll get a different answer.
Well, I definitely think it's a man.
A small man with a bald head. I don't know why, but I just see that when I see his work.
A lot of people think that I've got dreadlocks.
I would have pictured him as something like mid to late 30s.
I don't know, maybe a skinhead 40-year-old bloke.
I'm pretty sure that Professor Pigment is a Stoke-on-Trent lad, probably early 20s.
I think I know who he is. Well, I don't know, but I think I've probably come across him.
I was ProPig for one night.
He must have a wealth of experience of age, but he must also be young.
Likes his art, which doesn't mean he was good at art at school. It may be a late development, I don't know.
Would I like to know who he is? On one sense, I think I'd love to know who he is because he's really got me going, and I'm nosy. That's what I do. That's my job. I want to know.
I wasn't ProPig. Never been ProPig.
I really don't know. I think that's the whole joy of it in a way, that nobody knows.
Is it you? Could be you.
Who is ProPig is probably not that relevant. It's just ProPig's whatever you take away from it, and that's one of the reasons that I sort of stayed anonymous, was so that anybody in Stoke, any age, can sort of take something from ProPig. It's more about promoting Stoke and promoting creativity, and sort of that idea of you can do whatever you want to do. That's probably who ProPig is, or what ProPig is.
ProPig sent me a message saying he'd like a tattoo, so I offered him a tattoo as a thank you for doing what he'd done outside. I think what he's had done, the Staffordshire knot, stands for what we are, you know, tied together as a community, and I think he's had it in a really good place, really prominent place where people can figure out who he is.
If I was to ever see him or meet him, I don't know what I'd do. I think I would cry, because what he did for me at Christmas really gave me the boost to carry on and get through.
There's a chance that you will achieve what you're trying to achieve, and I think it'll happen for him.
Professor Pigment, if you ever take this to the level that Banksy's taken it to, remember the Harry Potter.
Thank you for the artwork outside that will bring people towards the studio to enjoy, and thank you for enjoying the story.
My message for Professor Pigment is: 1, we'd love a front cover. 2, any duck related art around the city would be fantastic. 3, keep doing what you're doing. 4, keep your anonymity going. And 5, from all of Duck magazine and all our readers, we think you're doing a fantastic job getting people talking about our city.
He must get lots of requests, and not specifically have I got a request, but if you're out there, Professor Pigment, just give me a little sign. Just do something to keep me going. Just give me a little sign.
If I had to send a message, it would be to whatever it is that you want to do, just go out and do these things, and don't let anybody tell you you can't, because it's not stopped me.